Autism centers went from 24 million in 2019 to 342 million in 2024. Are you aware of that?
Not specifically again, but yes, we know the budget's increased.
Integrated community supports went from 4.6 million in 2021 to 170 million in 2024. Are you aware of that?
Again, not specifically on the numbers, but it's the budget.
Governor Walz, you have to submit a budget to your legislature every single year, like every governor has to do. If you're not aware of these increases, what was your office
Everyone
doing?
is balanced. My budget is about $72 billion. It involves 23 agencies.
Florida's budget's
6 million people.
$115 billion, sir. But what were you doing if you're seeing program increases like this amid allegations of fraud in your state?
Action was being taken on these starting back in 2019. If it's CCAP.
Can you describe the action that was taken in 2019?
Sure. In the 2019, I'll go to the first things that we did on child care assistance. We lowered the standards on proof of administrative fraud disqualification.
Whoa, you lowered the standards?
We lowered the standards for proof of administrative fraud. The standards where we had to prove it were so high it was impossible to try and do it. So we lowered what it took to show that fraud was happening.
And what did you do with the results of lowering the standards to prove fraud? What did you do?
We put 79 people in prison and.
But Governor Walz, the fraud continued to increase. It increased under your tenure. Do you acknowledge that?
Did the numbers increase? Yes. And I tell you, when you catch people and prosecute them, it shows up at the fraud increase. I would tell you, Congressman, because you're not hearing about fraud doesn't mean it's not happening.
I got 50 seconds, Governor, and I don't want to get into a fight with you, but let me move quickly to the Lieutenant Governor. Peggy Flanagan's your Lieutenant Governor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Does the Lieutenant Governor go on the ticket with you, or are they elected by themselves on a ballot in the state of Minnesota?
It's on a ticket.
It's on a ticket. Peggy Flanagan essentially works for you.
She has an independent office. She's a constitutional officer. She's on the ticket, but she is independent as a constitutional officer.
You could ask for her resignation at any time. Is that correct? That's typically how it works with Lieutenant Governor.
that her supervisor at the Minnesota Department of Health and Human Services threatened to make her job difficult. And the supervisor that did that later received a promotion. Would that surprise you? And can you confirm if this account is accurate?
No, I can't confirm it, and I don't make HR decisions. But when I'm being very clear about this, there's a zero tolerance for whistleblower retaliation in Minnesota.
Can you? How can any agency combat fraud when retaliation goes unchecked?
It makes it more difficult. That's why we don't allow it.
Do you think that the fraudsters sent stolen funds to Somali terrorist groups?
Pardon me?
Do you think that any of the Somali folks that received funds sent any of that money to any of the stolen funds to Somali terrorist groups?
There's been reports done and investigations done on this, and I don't believe there's any proof to support that.
Okay. Mr. Attorney General, do you recall a December 2021 meeting with individuals connected to Feeding Our Future, during which you stated there will be cases that you know, I want you to feel free to call me directly, and then I call up and like, what's the problem? And let me tell you, just letting the inquiry from AG is sometimes enough to make people knock it off.
Congressman, yeah, I was at a meeting like that. Let me just say that I've reported on this numerous times. I've been in front of a committee in the Senate. I'm here today. I was in front of a state House committee. This is a widely discussed matter, and I've been fully transparent. But let me just be clear. These people were fraudsters.
He promised to make America healthier. Instead, RFK Jr. gutted the FDA, undermining food and medicine safety.
They lied to everyone, and I would like you to know that I do meet with community meetings all the time. I mean, it's a regular part of my job. Nothing unusual about me meeting with people. Nothing unusual about me telling people if you got a problem, my office will try to help you. But these people were liars and fraudsters.
Okay.
The main thing is I'd like you to know is that we're down so many federal prosecutors that it has put our ability to hold these people accountable definitely at a loss.
Yes, sir. 8-hour days do get long. In September of 2022, you issued a press release titled, "For 2 years, Attorney General Ellison's office has held Feeding Our Future accountable." Does that sound familiar?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. Let me tell you, the Department of Education.
Does it sound familiar or not, sir?
It certainly does. And
okay.
The Department of Education.
How much did you receive in campaign contributions from individuals? How much did you receive in campaign contributions from individuals charged in the Feeding Our Future case?
Every campaign donation I got was returned to all authorities.
Okay. Everybody knows about the $250 million in fraud for Feeding Our Future case, which was prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota. But there were just 2 other large site sponsors that you settled with instead of prosecuting them. Why did you not prosecute Partners in Quality Care or the Gar Family Services?
Because my office doesn't have jurisdiction to prosecute in those cases.
You allowed them to dissolve, but no one was prosecuted. And PIQC
they still may be,
sir, PIQC is accused of $300 million in fraud as significant assets, yet no charges and no attempts to recover taxpayer money. I'll remind y'all,